One person is dead and another is injured after this Friday morning crash. Police are expected to release more details.
More on this developing story. Good morning, Albert.
Good morning, Anthony. Yes, there's certainly some worry among fans, many of them likely waking up to the news now. The league, as you mentioned, has suspended all games until further notice after a player tested positive for COVID-19. Police began tearing down the scene here on Philip Murray Avenue in South Oshawa. They had been here since Tuesday after the sudden death of a woman that has now been deemed a homicide. Advocates for the unhoused say the cold weather and the pandemic have taken an already bad situation to crisis levels. Some are even calling for the city to ask the federal government to help. Health officials say trick-or-treating should happen outdoors as much as possible, but if you must go indoors, keep your distance and wear a mask. The new Darlington nuclear site will be built on the east side of the current generating station. It's the only new nuclear build authorized in the country. As I said, this is Ontario's 37th confirmed case and the 95th in Canada. We're still waiting to hear back from the convention center for their reaction to this latest development. Anthony?
We'll follow this very closely. Albert, thank you so much.
It's a roller coaster. You go up, you're doing good, and then you're back down.
Colby Kriegel says it's been a tough ride the past few years, adapting each time the province imposes a lockdown to curb the virus's spread. Now he says he's had enough. He reopened his pub, TJ O'Shea's in Etobicoke, to in-person dining on Saturday, 2 days before he would be allowed to under the province's current reopening plan.
I would just like to stand up for all small businesses and give everybody a chance to say, like, we're standing up and we've had enough and we need more help.
Just down the street at Tatsu's Bread, a different approach. They say it's important to follow the rules, even though they don't like the lockdown restrictions.
We would appreciate if you can keep the tables all the time. It's going to be better for us, obviously.
As frustrations with restrictions grow among business owners and the general public, there is increasing talk among experts about learning to live with the virus instead of repeatedly locking down.
This isn't sustainable, the way we're approaching, these waves, and really needing to think, have a different approach, an alternative approach.
Ottawa ICU physician Dr. Quadro Karamentang says officials need to target measures like vaccination and therapeutics at patients who are highest risk at landing in hospital.
This has to be the path forward to be able to live with COVID. Because there's going to be future variants. COVID's not going anywhere.
It's a change of approach increasingly floated by experts, including Ontario's top doctor, Kieran Moore.
We have to learn as a society to live with this virus, to live with the risk wherever we're going in our community, and adhere to all the best practices.
The City of Toronto says it's aware of the move by TJ O'Shea's to reopen early and says it's working with the business to ensure compliance to the restrictions. Albert Delitala, Global News. Residents of Pembry Drive in Ajax woke up to a heavy police presence early Thursday following the region's latest shooting. Police were called to the area just before 5 in the morning and say they found a 33-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound. He was rushed to a trauma center where he was pronounced dead.
This is now a homicide investigation, and our homicide investigators are looking after this incident.
Police haven't revealed any information on a suspect or circumstances leading up to the shooting.
Still too early to say as far as motive goes. Our investigators will dig a little deeper.
My friends called me and he was telling me I should probably go and check on my friend.
Mac Jamot says he left work after hearing his longtime friend, who he calls Mo, had been shot. He says Mo lived at the house with his girlfriend and 3 dogs.
We like animes. That's what we do. We watch a lot of TV together. So after work, like you see, I'll go on to visit him and we'll watch animes for a couple hours. Order food.
Taylor Murdoch says his sister lived in the home and was there at the time of the shooting. He says he's still trying to make sense of the violence.
It hasn't really hit yet, so.
A sentiment shared by Jamot.
I just don't get it. Not in this neighborhood. I've never seen nothing like in this neighborhood, and I've lived here for 20 years.
Police say they're canvassing the area looking for witnesses.
Speaking to any witnesses, anyone that may have heard anything, seen anything, or videotaped anything on their surveillance cameras.
This marks Durham Region's 7th homicide of the year. Police say there are no charges at this time and the investigation is ongoing. In Ajax, Albert Delitala, Global News.